Judaism is pro-choice, and I'm not speaking about abortion, although Judaism is pro-choice when it comes to abortion. I'm rather referring to making decisions. Judaism is very explicit. Life is about making choices, and the choices that we make will determine the future, ours and the world. The choices that we make are often moral choices. In Judaism, free will is everything. We have freedom to decide which path we are going to take at any given moment. Now, this is explicitly stated in many places, but explicitly in this week's Torah portion in the book of Deuteronomy. Moses makes this declaration to the people of Israel. He says, "See," the Hebrew word is re'eh, "this day I set before you blessing and curse. Blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God that I have enjoined upon you this day, and curse if you do not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn away from the path that I enjoin upon you this day." There is a rabbi, and I read his commentary this week, and I wanted to share some of his thoughts because I thought they were brilliant. The rabbi was named Asaf Ben Nash. He's a scholar at Yeshiva University. And he offers an insight into these three verses. In English, everything sounds easy. But in Hebrew, things got a little bit more complicated. So in this statement that I just read to you, "See, this day I set before you blessing and curse," the Hebrew word re'eh, see, is in the singular. You wouldn't know that in English. While noten lifnechem hayom, I set before you today, and all the other verses are in the plural. It gets a little complicated, but I'm going to make my point, and it's worth it. Why? There was a commentator called a very interesting name called the Alshish, who explains God gave Israel the Torah, but he gave each Israelite the blessing and the curses. It wasn't to the entire people. Everyone on an individual basis was given a choice. Now, this is what is being stated here. Let's think this through. In the world today, there are about 18 million Jewish people. In any group, there are high achievers. They do what the tradition asks of them, and they even go a little bit further. There are other well-meaning people who stand back a little bit and don't give it their all. Their logic is, since others are carrying the load, I can slack off. I mean, that's what the Onig Shabbat is about, isn't it? We'll get to the Onig Shabbat later. Since others are carrying the load, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to give it my all because others will. We don't have to work so hard because others are, what the word is, over-functioning. Therefore, according to this commentator, the Torah states the word re'eh, the singular, in order to teach that every Jew must recognize that they are individually important. It all depends on them individually. Every Jew must recognize that their actions matter. We cannot just depend on the group to carry us. Of course, this applies way beyond the Jewish people. It applies to all people. We are only as strong as the efforts of each individual. This idea is they will take care of it. There's no they. It's only I. It's only you. There's only you and I are responsible. There is no they. There's another commentator called Kali Yakar that takes this even further and quotes a very important part of the Talmud, the great compendium of Jewish tradition. This is what this commentator says. He says, every person should see every moment as if their good deeds and their bad deeds are exactly 50-50, balanced on the scale. The next choice they make will tilt the scales and determine their fate. This is a very famous rabbinic statement. Not only that, but they should also see that their own town, country, world, and the entire universe as if it was in a 50-50 state. And they should think, what I will do will determine the direction of the world. Very provocative statement. My one action can tilt the entire world, from potential destruction to salvation. You never know how weighty the implications of the actions of any one person could be. All of us have an equal impact in the world. You don't have to be a big shot or famous. You don't have to be Harry and Meghan. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Aren't you tired of hearing about them? That's all the topic. You don't have to be Jennifer Lopez or Ben Affleck. They're not important. You and I are important. Jewish tradition is speaking about someone who is just a regular person, an accountant, a doctor, a teacher, a business person, a plumber, a nurse, a lawyer, an 18-year-old, a 7th grader, can tilt the scale and make a difference in the fate of the entire world, humanity. It sounds crazy, but it isn't. Judaism is a religion of an individual empowerment. We don't throw up our hands and say, what I do just doesn't matter. It does. So what's my point? It is the ultimate Yamim Noraim message, the message of the high holidays, that our actions matter. We are pro-choice. Every decision has implications for everyone. Now, this Shabbat, we celebrate the new month of Elul, which is the month immediately prior to the high holidays. And there are all kinds of traditions associated with this month before the high holidays. It's supposed to be preparatory. We're supposed to get ready. And what the tradition says, it demands of us to carry out a kind of self-reflection. The Hebrew word is a cheshbon hanefesh, a kind of really an accounting. And the questions that we ask is, what is our impact? We are called upon to examine who we are. The influences that we have for good or for bad, the choice between making our lives a blessing or allowing our lives to be curses because of the inaction or selfishness. And anticipating the coming year, what one thing could any one of us do that could change the world? And I'm not worried about Nobel Prize discoveries, or I'm not talking about the amount of money that Warren Buffett could give to change the world. How can you and I do one thing in anticipation or in the new year that could change everything? So I decided to think about myself. Let me give you a very personal example. As many of you are aware, you must wait at least 8 weeks, 56 days between the donation of whole blood. Now, I have mild anemia as a result of having bariatric surgery several years ago. I need to take all of my vitamins, especially iron supplements. I have them right here. Do you see this is what I should be taking. Here's my iron supplement. Here's my other vitamin. I'm certainly not going to give you any. No, but you see, I'm being very serious now. Okay, I have my 2 pills. Okay? I admit, I'm not always religious in doing that. My choice has consequences. Twice in the past 6 months, I've tried to give blood, and I've been rejected because my hemoglobin is not right. You don't want to be told your hemoglobin isn't right. I'm angry with myself. Each unit, about a pint, can be divided into 3 primary components: red blood cells, plasma, and platelets, saving up to 3 lives. In the course of the year, I could save up to 18 lives. Chai. And who knows the impact on the world that those 18 people could have? The blessings, the things that they could accomplish, the love that they could express, the people they could nurture. Or the curses that will come to the world because they're not around. The people they know and love and can influence will suffer. Think about that. It's embarrassing to me. 2 damn pills that I should take every day. And because I don't do it religiously, I can't go and give blood, and those 18 people who could live perhaps won't live because I didn't do it. I mean, I think that's what the high holidays are about. It's my relationship to God, yes. My spiritual well-being, yes. But it has no meaning if it's not connected to something that's really tangible. I mean, forget about blood. I mean, one kind word that needs to be said at the right time to the right person can transform that person who receives that kind word sense of self-worth. And God knows what that will do to them and the people they'll touch. Or one favor to a friend who needs it. Or one day of volunteering at a polling place, which is dangerous now, how that could save our democracy because people are willing to do it. If the world is in balance, and anything that we can do will change the balance, what each of us does is potentially redemptive. And that is how I want to enter Elul. Okay, tomorrow Elul comes in. We have 28 days before Rosh Hashanah. Let's start living our lives really taking seriously what our tradition is setting before us. We can bring blessing by our actions or curses by our neglect. Each of us has infinite power. We need to hold on to it, grab it, and to use it. Each of us literally can change the course of the world. Imagine if each of us truly believed that and lived it. The new year of 5783 would be like no other. Shabbat Shalom.